Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you. Just got done doing one of my Rockstar reviews, and I just burped really bad and interrupted this video, so I had to start all over. But you guys tend to like my SummerSlam stories, me meeting wrestlers and so on and so forth. So I wanted to make a video about me meeting Jack Swagger. I know that a lot of people out there, Jack Swagger's not one of their favorite guys. He's one of those guys that tend to make you want to change the channel. But, a long time ago, back when he was on ECW, whatever year that was, 2008 or so, I liked Jack Swagger's first initial debut. I knew that first promo when he did the Tommy Who on ECW was, it was pretty bad, but I liked the way he looked and I liked his in-ring skills. I figured that one day he would be able to work on his promos and be able to nail him down. He's been a pretty good, decent heel, as a guy, being a fan of his. There was a good little run when, I was sitting here waiting for the day that I was to start getting tweets from people that WWE had put on the website that he had been released. But he pulled through, won the Elimination Chamber this year, went on to WrestleMania. He didn't get the job done against Alberto Del Rio. But you never know what could have happened if he didn't get that DUI bust. But I had an awesome chance. My first shot going to a WWE Access event was SummerSlam 2010. Walked in the door, met Edge, ran all the way down to the end of the event, and met Jack Swagger right there, meeting one of my favorite guys at the time. That was a pretty good exclamation point, and I had, sort of had that feeling as being a big Jack Swagger fan since I met him at my first event that I would meet him at every Access I ever went to after that. But I've been to, the 2011, 2012, and Swagger didn't even appear at the Access I was at. The WrestleMania at WrestleMania 27, I'm sorry, the Access at WrestleMania 27, he was scheduled to be there, just didn't even show up. They just had a schedule change. I don't know why they put him on there and took him off, but more than likely because the event was the same day as WrestleMania itself, so they were probably there working with Cole and Lawler and Stone Cold Steve Austin, and I apologize for anybody that I reminded you of that, but if you've ever seen it, I took one of the worst pictures with Jack Swagger of all time at the SummerSlam 2010 Access. The person took my picture as I was bending over to get, on the table to get next to Jack. Jack was ready, I wasn't, and it sucks having that picture. And I've, always, wanted to meet him again just to retake that picture. Plus my figure from him winning the Money in the Bank at WrestleMania 26. It was a Toys R Us exclusive. It's one of my favorites, one that I've really taken care of the past few years, and I just really wanted to get that signed desperately, just never got the chance. This year, I was waiting in line to meet AJ and Big E, two guys that I really wanted to meet, and we were in the front of the line as they came out, and AJ was doing some interviews and so on and so forth, and they sort of stagger the way people come out so it doesn't cause like a flash mob of people. It's sort of like one group of wrestlers come out and they go to their booth, and then the next people come out and go to their booth. It sort of helps people pick where they want to go and gets the lines moving and everything like that, because if they had 10 or 12 wrestlers all come out at once, it'd just be a flash mob scene, and nobody would be able to move and get around. I mean, one of the biggest almost riots events that I've ever seen is when Rob Van Dam came out. I mean, everybody flooded this guy. They almost held him up enough that I was going to be able to meet Caitlyn, who I really wanted to, but we just couldn't get up to that front of the line, me and Kevin. But we were waiting there for AJ to finish her interviews, and Swagger, Cesaro, and Zeb slipped behind us, and the word had gotten to us that they were just one booth over, and I fucking dipped. There's no chance in the world that I was at a risk meeting. There's no chance in the world that I was at a risk not meeting Swagger. That was it. When I was making my SummerSlam loot video of the stuff that I went down there, it was during that video when I was talking to you guys and you guys were watching. I had no intentions of bringing that figure, but I just threw it out there. I'm going to bring it just in case. I had no plans on bringing it. I didn't even show it in the video because I hadn't even got it out of the closet. I had to dig through boxes to find it, find a box to put it in, and it honestly just barely fit in my backpack with my two encyclopedias. I put my encyclopedias in the back, and I put the figure in front in a large USPS shipping box, and it was just able to fit, just able to close. I wasn't able to zip it all the way around to the side. I had to zip it up to the top in both spots, but it just barely made it. It's so funny that, I didn't know he was going to be there on Sunday, and I didn't even, or he was on Saturday, but I didn't even, it wasn't even a thought to bring it until the last second, and then I put it in the box. But as I got in line to meet Swagger, I had learned sort of fast that what I did was kind of foolish, getting out of the AJ and Big E line, because my friends who were in that line had moved over to get into this line, and they were only, maybe 15 to 20 people behind us. We were sort of rolled through the line. There was no chance in the world, no matter how fast I got through this line, I was to get back into that AJ line, because she was like one of the people that everyone wanted to meet at Access, just like Rob Van Dam. That line got freaking ridiculous, and it got ridiculous fast. And no disrespect to Big E, but nobody cared that he was there except for freaking 88 and Justin, RK and NWO, my man right there. But as I draw it in to meet Swagger, honestly, Swagger had the sort of who cares attitude the whole time. Every few people, then when they took the picture, he would do the we the people deal. But honestly, one of the coolest things is when you were waiting in line is that every 10 to 15 minutes, Swagger and Cesaro will get down off of the stage, and they have a handicap line for handicapped people, and they sign and take pictures for all those people. And Cesaro, it was the Doritos booth, so as you met them, as you got off the stage, they had a helper handing you a free sample of Doritos, which actually was a pretty big bag. Not like a bag that you would get like in a grocery store when you're walking down aisle 5 here, but like a big enough bag that you would get like at AM/PM, or when you're on a road trip, or maybe even like the bags of chips at Subway. Not like the ones you get in your school lunch that your mom picks up, or you get a bag of 20 bags. But it was that larger but not extra large size, and there's a lot of people living off those chips. They were the same chips that they gave me for the Dolph Ziggler video, but by that time, I don't know, after eating like 4 bags of those, I just didn't want them anymore. Somehow I walked away from Access with 2 bags uneaten. I did eat those later in the week at Disneyland, but there was too much Hot Ranch chips flying around. As we got up to meet Swagger, the first thing he mentioned was that he was a 49er fan as well, and I knew, and he really liked my hat, and we talked to Niner football, saying that this was the year, and I honestly told him the same thing I say in all my Niner videos, that it's not a guarantee, it's not a lock. We got a young quarterback, and we got some question marks on this team, and you can't go into it boasting, saying that we're the best in the world, because you never know what's going to happen with football. Those first 5 weeks for the San Francisco 49ers could be real tough. He agreed with me. I handed him the figure. He looked over for a second. He signed it. I told him I really appreciated him, and I was a really big fan. And I didn't say it, but I honestly felt really bad. I have that Swagger Basic shirt, but like I said, I didn't even plan on bringing the figure. I didn't even think I had a shot in meeting him. But if I would have thought I even had a chance, man, that Swagger Basic shirt would have been awesome. Put the exclamation on meeting him that day, because I bought it in 2010. And I've only wore it countless number of times. I wore it once to I think I actually wore it to Access at WrestleMania 27, thinking that he was going to be there, walking around like a fool, and then I did change it to go into WrestleMania that day. But, man, I've probably only worn that shirt twice, maybe 3 times if I've even worn it in a video. But, Cesaro was cool. Cesaro grabbed the figure, and I don't know if he's a figure guy, but he was really looking it over, looking it up and down. And Swagger had to tell him not to sign it, because I think that Swagger thought that Cesaro was just going to grab his pen and sign it, which does happen at Access sometimes. Those guys are just so used to signing things that they don't even really look over what they're doing. Everybody knows the blooper about when my buddy Josh Molinaros went and got his NWA title signed. Kofi Kingston signed it on accident, because R-Truth was signing it, and Kofi just reached over, signed it real fast, just to keep the line moving and try to get everybody going. But I was glad that I got to meet Swagger again. I think everybody wants to know the main event story. What happened with Luke? He's already said it in his video, but for some reason people keep asking me about it. Luke was just involved in a conversation when he was in the front row of the line to meet him. And they were talking about the dream match, I guess you could say, of Kurt Angle versus Jack Swagger. And Luke was just outspoken. He's a bigger Kurt Angle fan than he is a Jack Swagger fan, and I'm a huge Swagger fan, and I don't even think that Swagger, could beat Kurt Angle realistically. I think that it would definitely be a good match, and we'd have to see how it panned out. But if I had to throw money down, I'd put money on Angle beating him. But Luke was just loud, and he just stated his opinion, and Cesaro heard it, and the buzz spread throughout the thing, and Swagger gave him a chance, and you got to give Luke his props. He's got balls. He stood up to him, and he said, I didn't, he believed in what he believed in, and when Swagger called him out on it, he said, good, I don't like you anyways, and Swagger already had it in his heart that he wasn't got to give him an autograph. So, I mean, the thing played out perfect. I mean, if I was Luke, I know that he said that it took him out of the Access, and he sort of was bummed for that night, but that's a story he's going to be able to tell forever, and I don't think he really would have been able to cherish a Jack Swagger autograph that much. I think he already met him in 2010, so he might already have a piece of Access paper signed by the guy. So if I was Luke, I'd be crushed, because I'm a Jack Swagger fan. With him not being a Swagger fan, I think it gives him a huge story, that he's going to be able to tell for a long time, and, it's going to be freaking awesome. But to get that figure signed, that's a huge props to my collection. To meet Cesaro and Zeb for a first time, that was really, really cool to be able to tell Cesaro that my first ROH match was him and the Kings of Wrestling going up against the world's greatest tag team. And, I was so nervous to meet him. I kept stumbling, and I was saying it was so awesome. When I went to that show, it was my first time, and I got to see you guys wrestle the Kings of Wrestling, and then I was like, well, I kept trying to correct myself, and every time I corrected myself, I just messed myself up even more and more. But I got a good picture with Swagger, because the person that was taking the pictures for me took a picture of me as I was meeting Swagger, and then also took a picture of me at the end with all of us, like I joined the Real American team. But Access was awesome. Meeting Swagger was awesome. Big thumbs up to everybody who was there. I had a lot of people that were my friends in that line, and I think everybody knew that I was pumped to meet Swagger. And pretty stupid for jumping out of the AJ and Big E line, but there's going to come a day when I get to meet them again. So all is all right in the world. Everybody have a fun day today, and let's have a good one. Peace out.